Good morning, students. Today let us discuss the next topic in the lesson structure of atom. In this lesson, before class we have studied about the spectrum and electromagnetic spectrum, Bohr's model of atom and Bohr-Sommerfeld model of atom. Today we are going to learn about the quantum mechanical model of atom and quantum numbers. The last topic it is electronic configuration. Quantum mechanical model of atom. This is the proposed model of atom, and we know that positively charged nucleus is there, and around this nucleus the negatively charged subatomic particle electron revolving, and it is following or revolving in a particular path, or that is called orbit. Okay. We know that electron it is revolving in particular orbit. Then can we answer the question, do the electrons follow defined paths around the nucleus? The proposed model of atom, it is telling that electron it is revolving, of course. Then whether the electron it is following that particular path, we don't know. And then one more question, if the electron it is moving, then what is the velocity of electron? We know that every moving object it possesses some velocity. Electron also moving, so what is the velocity of electron? Can we calculate? The next question, is it possible to find the exact position of electron? We are telling that electron is revolving in a particular path, that is called orbit around the nucleus. Then where is the electron in that orbit? Can we find the position? We can't find exactly. Next one, do atoms have a definite boundary as suggested by Bohr's model? Bohr, what he suggested, the particular orbits are there, and these orbits are located at different distances from the nucleus, and these electrons will follow in that particular orbits only. Then the atom should have a particular boundary, right? Whether the atom is having a particular or definite boundary. So for answering all these questions, let us recollect the Bohr's model of atom. What he said. He said, first of all, electron it is very minute and we cannot see through our naked eye. So for that minute electron, can we calculate the velocity, or can we say that there is the electron? No. So for suppose in our house, if the lights are gone, what we will do? We will take the help of the torchlight for finding out the articles or objects. Similarly, if the electron it is very minute, that means it is very small. So for finding out the electron position, we can do an experiment. We know that we have studied from the electromagnetic spectrum that the visible region of light is there. They are having some particular wavelengths. So for this very small electron, we will select a very small wavelength, that means shorter wavelength of light, and we will focus on that electron where it is locating to find out. Then what will happen? The shorter wavelength means the frequency will be very high, and this electromagnetic wave, what it will do? It disturbs the electron. It interacts with the electron and disturbs the motion. That means the rotating electron it disturbs by focusing the suitable shorter wavelength of light. Then what will happen? If the electron is rotating in particular or following in particular orbit, it definitely changes its path because the electromagnetic field is here. So we can clearly say through this discussion that electrons definitely we cannot find out, definitely they will change if we focus on are disturbing the field. Then we cannot find out the velocity, and we cannot say that is the exact position of electron like that. So position we cannot find out, or velocity also we cannot find out. And whether these are the atoms are having a definite boundary. Okay, if the electrons they are not distributed particularly in particular orbit, then how can we say that there is a definite boundary to that atom? So if the electron position we cannot find out, means we cannot answer all these questions. Then what we will do? Till now Bohr or Sommerfeld, whoever may be, they proposed these models of atoms. Mainly Niels Bohr, he proposed this model of atom, and he explained about the orbit and stationary state. These are the energy levels, and these are denoted with small n, 1 2 3 4, and n is equal to 1. That means a K shell, L shell, M shell, and so on. And he explained very clearly about these energy levels also. These are these path it is called, whereas the path is called orbit, and also the stationary state or energy level. All this he explained, but he fail to explain the particular location, or find out the particular exact location or exact position, and whether this boundary it is definite. All this, for answering all these questions, let us see the quantum mechanical model of atom. This is the quantum mechanical model of atom, and this one proposed by Erwin Schrödinger. He is a famous scientist. He is famous for his wave equation psi. Do you remember in physics? Okay. Quantum mechanical model of atom was developed by Erwin Schrödinger. So we are having some confusion that electrons, where they are located and how to find. He has given all the answers for our questions. It helps to understand the properties of electrons in an atom. And according to this model of atom, instead of orbits of Bohr's model, the electrons are thought to exist in a particular region of space around the nucleus at a given instant of time. Till now we have studied about the Bohr's model, and Bohr explained us the particular region around the nucleus where the electron is revolving. That is called orbit. But we have just now we have discussed that electron, it is not particularly revolving in that orbit. Then where is the electron revolving? So there is a space around the nucleus. That space, that to a particular instant of time, the electron it is presenting there. That is nothing but orbital. Here comes the orbital. What is the definition? The region of space around the nucleus where the probability of finding an electron is maximum. The most important, because we are searching for the electron position particularly. So where the probability of finding an electron is maximum, that region around the nucleus, that is called orbital. The maximum probability of finding an electron around the positively charged nucleus in a three-dimensional space available, explained by using Schrödinger wave equation. This is not the two-dimensional. Erwin Schrödinger has given a clear explanation about these orbitals in it. That means x, y and z axis also. How these orbitals are shaped and what are their names, all this he has given a clear explanation. Each orbital of a stable energy state for the electron is described by a particular set of quantum numbers. To understand particularly about this electron property, we should know, or we have to study about the quantum numbers. These quantum numbers are most important. They will give the particular proper address of the electron. Now we are searching for the electron, and we are searching for the velocity of the electron and the position of the electron. So that is nothing but the address of the electron in the around the nucleus. So around the nucleus where the electron it is. So the electron position, shape, all these, that means the address of the electron gives us the quantum numbers. We are having four types of quantum numbers. First one, it is principal quantum number, and it is denoted with small n. Next one, the angular momentum quantum number, or azimuthal quantum number, or orbital quantum number. Three names it is, and it is represented with small l. And magnetic quantum number, it is represented with ml. And spin quantum number, it is represented with ms. So what information do the quantum numbers provide? What these are all providing? The quantum numbers describe the size, shape, energy and orientation of the orbital. Just now we have studied that it is giving or it is providing the address of the electron. Where the electrons are revolving in orbitals. That means the probability of finding an electron, it is maximum. That is called orbital. So that particular orbital shape, size and energy and orientation, all this information the quantum numbers are providing for us. So what does each quantum number signify? Let us see what does these four quantum numbers are giving us. The first quantum number, it is principal quantum number. Principal quantum number, it is represented with n, and this one proposed by Niels Bohr. The same Niels Bohr previously we have studied. It explains about the size and energy of the orbit. This orbit in terms we can call as energy level or shell. We have studied this one. The n values. N means the principal quantum number. So these values are positive integers. That means 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. This is the picture Niels Bohr structure of atom. It is consists of the positively charged nucleus, and around these nucleus at particular distances orbits are located. And if n value increases, the orbit become larger and the electrons in this orbit are farther from the nucleus. This means if the n value increases, see here n values, it is continuously increasing. First orbit it is n value 1, next one it is 2, next 3 and the next one 4. So if the number of n increases, the orbit size also it is increasing. If comparing with k and n, if we compare k and n, k shell it is having a small size compared with n. N is having bigger size. So n is equal to 1 means in the tabular form, see here n is equal to 1, then that shell is called k, named as k, and n is equal to 2. The shell it is called L shell, and n is equal to 3, then it is called M shell, and n is equal to 4, that is called N shell. Okay. Now we have seen that Niels Bohr explained the size. Okay, size just now we have seen that it is gradually increasing. N value increasing means size also increasing. But the electrons present, what happened here? The electrons present in the N shell are far away from the nucleus. Obviously, if it is far away from the nucleus means electrons also far away from the nucleus. Okay. The next one, it is energy. What about energy here? K shell. If n is equal to 1, that is K shell. What about this energy? Energy is lower here. Compare with the next shell. What is the next shell? N is equal to 2 means L shell. In between K and L, K is having lower energy and L is having higher energy. Then compare with the N, K is having lower energy and N is having higher energy. So which orbit it is near to the nucleus, it is having lower energy. The orbit which is away from the nucleus, farther from the nucleus, those are having higher energy. And the number of electrons in a shell is limited to 2n square. There is a limitation. How many electrons should a shell can consist of? That one we calculated with the formula 2n square. This one we have studied in the previous lesson also. See the tabular form here. So it gives us the information like 2 electrons only can accommodate in K shell, and 8 electrons, the maximum number of electrons are 8 in L shell, whereas M shell 18 and N shell 32. These are calculated by using the formula 2n square. So the total information we got from the principal quantum number is size of the orbit and the energy of the orbits or shells. Remember this one. These key points are very much important. What does the principal quantum number tells us? Principal quantum number gives us the information about the energy and then size of the orbit. Second one is angular momentum quantum number, and that it is denoted with the letter small l and proposed by Sommerfeld. Do you remember the Sommerfeld model of atom? He corrected the Bohr's model of atom by adding elliptical orbits, elliptical paths to the first orbit of the Bohr. So then later in quantum mechanical model of atom, it is clear that electrons are presenting mostly in the orbital. That means we can find the electrons mostly in the orbitals. So angular momentum quantum number, what it gives us? It defines the shape of the orbital, mainly shape of the orbital it is giving us, occupied by the electron, and the orbital angular momentum of the electron in motion. Electrons are always in motion. It always revolves around the nucleus in orbitals. Then the angular momentum of the electron. So any moving object, particularly it is revolving around the nucleus. So it possesses some angular, it makes some angular momentum. So the electron is having particular angular momentum. Based on this angular momentum, the shapes of these orbitals are defined. So angular momentum quantum number, it gives us the shapes of the orbitals. It gives and it tells us the shape. How is the orbital shape? Let us see here. Due to this reason, this quantum number is also called as orbital quantum number, because it is giving the information about orbital shape, or angular momentum quantum number, because it is we are calculating, or we are giving the shape by calculating the angular momentum, and this is also called as azimuthal quantum number. So three names are there for this. L means the angular momentum quantum number has the integer values, that means including 0. So 0 to n minus 1 for each n value. So L value, how to calculate? If we know the principal quantum number n, we can easily calculate by the formula n minus 1. So each value of L is related to the shape of the orbital in the space around the nucleus. We know that one. The value of L for a particular orbital is generally designated by the letters S, P, D, F. Here comes the orbital names. We are representing or denoting the orbitals by using the small letters S, P, D, F, whereas orbits are represented with capital letters K, L, M, N. But here, this is the second one, angular momentum quantum number. This one specifically talks about the orbitals, and it is denoted, orbitals are represented with the small letters SPDF, and these values are integer values. That means these values includes 0, and we can calculate by using the formula n minus 1. If we know the principal quantum number value n, then we can calculate the angular momentum quantum number. So L values are starting from 0. That means if n is equal to 1, then L value is n minus 1. That is 1 minus 1, 0. So L is 0, then the subshell, it is called S subshell. Name of the subshell is S. If L value is 1, the name of subshell is P. If L value is 2, the name of subshell D. Then L value is 3, the name of the subshell F. So SP, DF are the orbitals or subshells names. Next one, the angular momentum quantum number L. How to calculate, just we have seen. This tabular form gives us the information about how many subshells are there in each orbit. See, if n value is equal to 1, that is K shell. How many orbitals are there here? 1s, only one subshell or one orbital. Where n is equal to 2, then 0, 1, 2 subshells are there. What are those? Those are 2s and 2p. If n is equal to 3, principal quantum number 3, so angular momentum, how many values here? 0, 1, 2, 3 values are there. How we have to calculate this one? By using the formula n minus 1. So here these are third subshell, so 3s, 3p and 3d. Whereas n is equal to 4, 4 subshells are there. Those are 4s, 4p, 4d and 4f. So this is all the information about angular momentum quantum number, how to calculate and how many subshells are there and how they are named. What are the names of the subshells or orbitals? So you have to remember, finally angular momentum quantum number gives us the information about the shape of the orbital. Let us see what are the shapes. Here comes the Shapes of the SPDF orbitals. S orbital shape it is spherical, whereas p orbital dumbbell and d orbital double dumbbell. And whereas F it is, observe here, they all are merged. Why? Because we can see here clearly the three-dimensional pictures are there. So x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. So it is clearly quantum mechanical model of atom. It is explaining the three-dimensional way of the region. That means the orbital where it is located. So the orbital shape, how they explain means in a three-dimensional way. So these x and y and z axis 3 we can observe, and how these orbitals are located or they are orienting along these 3 axes. So these are the shapes of the orbitals. Third quantum number, it is magnetic quantum number. It is proposed by Landé and it is denoted with small m in the suffix small l. What is the reason to introduce this quantum number? When an atom is placed in a magnetic field, what happens? Definitely the electron shows some changes, right? See here. When an atom is placed in a strong magnetic field, the electrons with same values of principal quantum number n and orbital quantum number l may still differ in their behavior. So to account all these, for one more quantum number ml known as magnetic orbital quantum number has been introduced. So for studying the changes and the characteristics of this electron when an atom is placed in a strong magnetic field, the magnetic quantum number is introduced. This is produced by Zeeman effect and Stark effect. What is Zeeman effect? Zeeman effect refers to the splitting of spectral lines due to magnetic field. When an atom is placed in a strong magnetic field, the Zeeman effect clearly gives us the information why and how the splitting of spectral lines happen. And Stark effect refers to the splitting of spectral lines due to electric field. When an atom is supposed to place in an electric field, that results explained by the Stark effect. So this Zeeman and Stark effect clearly gives us information about electric fields and magnetic field. Okay, and let us see what is the information given by this magnetic quantum number. Magnetic quantum number, it is giving the information about the orientation of orbital. The orientation of orbital with external magnetic field determines the magnetic orbital quantum number ml. So finally you have to remember that magnetic quantum number gives us the information of the orientation of the orbital when external magnetic field applies. Here it has the integer values. That means negative values are there and zero will be there, and then positive values. All the three values will be there. So thus for certain value of L, there are 2L plus 1 integer values of ml. Let us see how to calculate this one. These are the negative values and 0 and positive values when L is equal to 0. So how many values are there for ml? 2 into 0 plus 1, that is 1. So ml is only one value. Thus we have only one orientation of orbital, that is 1s orbital. 1s means where s refers the orbital name and 1 is refers the shell. So n is equal to 1 means that is k shell. K shell, how many orbitals are there? Only one orbital, that is 1s orbital. How many orientations are there now? Only one orientation. Next one, see here, where L is equal to 1. So the values are ml are 3 values. So what are those? L is equal to 1. So the values are minus L, 0 and plus L. So minus 1, 0 and plus 1. P orbital now here. P orbital is divided into 3. Px and Py and Pz. Okay. S orbital, it is single orbital. So there is no problem. Whether these 3 p orbitals are energies will be same or not. Let us see here. Is the 3 p orbitals have same energy? The magnetic orbital quantum number ml indicates the number of orbitals in a subshell with a particular L value. If we know the L value, we can calculate how many ml values are there. So how many ml values means how many subshells or orbitals are there, and how many orientations also we can calculate. If coming to the energy, orbitals in a subshell belongs to the same shell possess same energy but with different orientations. Keep in mind that the same energy will be there but the energy is equally distributed. So that is called degenerated. The p orbital is degenerated orbitals. That means the energy is same for all. So the energy is equally distributed among this p orbital. Hence, px, py and pz have same energy but they differ in their orientations, because px means the orbital it is rotating along the x-axis, and py means along y-axis, pz means along z-axis. See here, this is the s orbital. First one it is s orbital. So next one, so there is no problem for s orbital. But whereas p values, p orbital, we have seen that -1, 0 and +1. That means x, y, z axis. Three axes are there. So for the value of -1, that is x-axis, the orbital it is along with the x-axis, orienting along with x-axis. Whereas for positive value p1, observe that one, that is rotating or orienting along the y-axis. Whereas 0, for 0 value it is along the z-axis. So three orientations we have seen, along x-axis, along y-axis and z-axis. The next one it is d orbital. D, how many orbitals are there? 5 orbitals are there. What are those? The values we can see, ml values. What are the ml values? That means magnetic quantum number values. 5 values are there. What are those? Whereas L value is 2, then the values are starts from -2. So -2, -1, 0, +1 and +2. Total 5. The orientations, if we observe that one, D -2 along x-axis and along y-axis are there. For -1, see here, along y-axis and z-axis the orientations are there. And for 0, it is completely on z-axis. And then positive values, those are, you observe that one, D1 and D2. So clearly from these pictures we can observe that the orientations along the axis. That means it is giving about the clear picture how the orbitals are orienting, and these all in three-dimensional way we can observe. Next, f orbital. F orbital is also degenerated. That means these all energies are the main shell. How many energies? What are the energies of the main shell is equal here, but these energies are degenerated equally in all orbitals. So f orbital, how many are there? Total 7. So this is a little bit clumsy, but you can observe that one, along which axis this orientation is happening. This is about the shapes of the orbitals, like how the orbitals are rotating or orienting along these x, y and z axis. Observe this tabular form. It gives us the information about the principal quantum number value n, and angular momentum quantum number L, and magnetic quantum number ml, and how many orbitals are there, and number of orbitals in subshell, and maximum number of electrons of the orbital, and then again in shell also. So whereas the principal quantum number n is equal to 1, so angular momentum value it is 0. That means only one orbital it is there, s orbital. So ml value it is 0, only one value. So one orbital and one orientation, that is 1s orbital. So number of orbitals in subshell is 1. So maximum number of electrons in any orbital, that is 2. If n is equal to 2, we are having two L values, 0, 1. So 2 orbitals, s, p. ml values are, for 0 it is 0, that means only one value, but for p these are degenerated. So here 3 values, px, py, pz. So -1, 0, +1, and 2p. So px, 2px, 2py and 2pz. 3 subshells are there. So max number of electrons means, so each one holds 2 electrons. So 3 into 2, 6 electrons. Next one, n is equal to 3. We know that first it is 0, so only 1, 3s orbital. Next, 1 p orbital means here 3p, 3x, 3p, 3y, 3z. So 6 electrons are there. Whereas d means 5 degenerated orbitals are there. These values are -2 to +2. So here 5 subshells are there. That means 5 orbitals. So 5 into 2. How many total? 10 electrons are there. The last one it is 4. So total here 4s, 4p, 4d and 4f are there orbitals. But 4s means only one subshell. So 2 electrons can accommodate. But 4p 3, that means 4px, 4py, 4pz. So 3 into 2, 6 electrons. Whereas 4d, here 5 degenerated orbitals are there. So 5 into 2, 10 electrons it can accommodate d orbital. Last one it is 4f. See here the value, L value 3. So the M values, ML values, magnetic quantum number values starts from -3 to +3 including 0. So 4f, here how many orbitals are there total? 7. Number of orbitals in a subshell are 7. So each one holds 2 electrons. So 7 into 2, 14 electrons. This picture, this tabular form gives us the total information about the principal quantum number and angular momentum quantum number, magnetic quantum number, and how many orbitals are there, what are the orbital names, either s, p, d, f, and number of orbitals in subshell, how many are there, like p it is having 3px, 3py and 3pz, whereas D also dxy, dyz and dzx, dx square, all these like 5 are there, and 4f, 7 are there. So how many maximum number of electrons means each orbital possesses only 2 electrons. So p orbital means 3 degenerated orbitals. So 3 into 2, 6 electrons, whereas d 5. So 5 into 2, 10 electrons, and f orbital 7 degenerated orbitals. So 7 into 2, 14. The fourth one it is spin quantum number, and it is proposed by Uhlenbeck and Goudsmit. And the representation it is small m in the suffix small s, because m suffix s means spin quantum number, whereas ml means magnetic quantum number. So what is the reason for this one, how it came into the field? So there is a story. We have studied in previous classes like about emission spectra and absorption spectra. Have you observed any time on the street lights in yellow color? Nowadays we can see the LED lights or LCD lights, but sodium lamps, if you observe in villages or on highways, sodium lamps will be there. Those provide yellow color light. So this yellow color light, that means emission spectra, if we observe under a powerful spectrometer, there are lines, emission lines, but these lines are not clearly separated, but in the form of doublet, like a double lines, they are appeared. So the scientists got doubt, and they done the research to find out what is the reason behind this doublet. So Uhlenbeck and Goudsmit, they done the research, and they find out that sodium is a alkali metal, and alkaline and alkali earth metals and few elements also appearing or emitting these kind of doublet lines in their emission spectra. So they find that finally electron, when it is revolving around the nucleus in particular orbitals, what it is doing, it is not following in one direction. That means it is not spinning in only one direction. That means not only in clockwise, one more, it is anti-clockwise also it is spinning. So two directions and two spins are there for electron. One is clockwise and one more it is anti-clockwise. See here, spin quantum number is denoted by ms. It refers to possible orientations of the spin of the electrons. So this orientation is not in the only one direction, single direction, rather than two directions are there, two single orientation but with two directions. One is clockwise and another one is anti-clockwise. So these are represented by plus half, plus 1 by 2 and minus 1 by 2. In our previous lesson also, we have filled electrons like this, one upper arrow and one down arrow. This is the reason why we have to fill like that, because the electron, it is having spinning, like two spins are there. One it is positive spin and one is negative, that is clockwise spin and anti-clockwise spin. So this is all about the spin quantum number. Spin is an intrinsic property. This is intrinsic is nothing but the natural property. So today we have completed about the quantum mechanical model of atom under these quantum numbers. The quantum numbers are most important because these quantum number gives us the proper address of the electron with particular values. So today we have learned all these four quantum numbers. Let us see the shapes one more time and how the orbitals are degenerated clearly through these pictures. These are S1s, 2s and 3s. These are only elliptical. So no problem for this. We know this one. But P it is dumbbell shape. And these are 3 degenerated. That means Px, Py, Pz. So along with the x-axis, if the orientation happens means Px. Along with the y-axis, the orientation happens means Py. Finally, Pz. So P orbital 3 are there, Px, Py, Pz. But the energy is same, but it is divided into 3. D orbital, it is double dumbbell. Here it is dxy, dyz, dzx and dz square and dx square minus y square. So these are all 3-dimensional. So for your visibility purpose, observe this one. 5 degenerated orbitals are there. Next, F1. F orbital, it is total 7 degenerated orbitals are there. So these are the 3-dimensional pictures, how the orientations are happening along the x, y and z axis. So quantum mechanical model of atom gives us a clear picture of the size, shape and energy of the orbitals, even the orientation and spin also. All the total 4 quantum numbers gives us the clear picture with the perfect values, and so we can find out the address. Finally, now we can conclude that we know where the electron it is, in which subshell it is, in which orbital it is, how many electrons it is having. That means how many electrons are there in subshell, or how many, what is the energy of the shell and what is the energies of the subshells, all these. So finally, quantum mechanical model of atom gives us a clear picture. Today I have studied the important topic in this lesson, and read the textbook once. This is for today. Thank you so much.